You know, it's amazing what you can remember and what you can't remember. There are some days, if I'd talk to you 1 minute, a couple minutes later, I'd have to stop and think of what we talked about, you know. Like Kevin will ask me a lot of times stuff, and I say, Kevin, you're asking the wrong person. I can't remember. You figure 90 years is a long time.
Hey, Dad, I wanted to ask you, when you were a kid, did you have any health problems? Did you ever get injured? Did you have to go to the hospital?
I got injured, but I never went to the hospital.
Well, tell us about that, getting injured.
I did 21-day German measles. Those days you were quarantined in the house. They put a big sign on your door. Nobody allowed in. You know, they were really strict on that too.
Did your whole family get it?
No, I don't recall anybody else having it but me. You know, of course, I was stuck in the bedroom in the dark, get blinds pulled. Then that other deal, we used to walk down. I think my sister Goldie and I walked down to meet my dad. He's working 3 to 11. Daddy's big sore pipe. And I was jumping on them, one to the other. And I missed the step and come down, land on my chin. I still have a scar under my chin. And I think I bit clear through my lip. But I didn't go to the hospital. No, I was afraid to even tell my dad about it.
Why?
For fear he'd give me hell.
Well, yeah, he would have given you hell, but if you needed medical attention.
Well, I could blow bubbles out of my lip.
Oh, my God.
You had to ask, didn't you, Kevin? Now I'm grossed out.
Oh. Did you have any nightmares or dreams or stuff like that you remember as a kid? Like any fears of things?
Oh, I probably did, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Jeff, you have any questions along those lines?
No, I'm still grossed out.
Dad, who was your first girlfriend?
Oh, I think it was my neighbor girl. I mean, I liked her. We never went. I think we went out one time, but her last name was Roe, R-O-E. They lived next door to us, and a nice girl, quiet girl. You heard us talking about at Kate Crothers. That Mom said she saw me holding her coat for her and everything. She said, I wished I had a boyfriend like that.
Jeff, I got to tell you, Mom saw Dad 3 times before they actually started to date. So one time was at the Five and Dime. Mom sees Dad in his Navy uniform with this date, and Dad takes this woman's coat and puts it on, and Mom says, Mom told me this story herself, and Mom says, oh, I wish I had somebody like that in my life, right? So the first time she sees him, right, but they don't meet. Another time is she was over visiting a friend, and the friend says, oh, I have to walk down to the mailbox. Do you want to just walk down with me? And she says, okay. So they're walking, and she says, what are you mailing? She says, oh, I have some letters. I have this pen pal. This guy is in the Navy. And she says, who's that? And the woman says, his name is Paul Farkas, right? That's the second time. And then the third time is when Mom was, she borrowed her boyfriend's convertible, and they were out driving around, and they got stuck on College Hill, right there by the stadium. And then Dad came up, and that's when they met. So it took 3 times for Mom to actually meet Dad before they started dating. Isn't that something?
Wow, it is.
Beaver Falls as a kid, what was it like growing up in that little town?
Beaver Falls was a good city. Lots of stores. During the holiday, especially Christmas, they'd play Christmas music from the top of the Royal Broadhead Hotel. All the stores were all lit up and decorated up, and you saw people like you wouldn't see. I mean, people were everywhere. People weaving in and out. That's what it was like. Like I told you, I wasn't afraid. I'd get on the bus. I'd ride clear down the end of Beaver Falls on the bus. I'd get off, and I'd walk back to Laredo. And the only place I was scared was on 26th Street. There was a 26th Street gang that they fought with the College Hill guys, but I never had any trouble with them.
Didn't you tell me that one of the things you did as a kid is you went around the neighborhood and you knocked on your neighbors' doors to come in and look at their Christmas trees?
Yeah, we did. They treated us good, except that one brat. They'd give us candy and stuff, you know. invite us in, come on in. And I'm in this one house, and this kid got a belt, and he started beating me with a belt. And I think his mother thought it was just funny or cute, you know. Well, I was ready to punch his lights out, but I didn't dare hit him in his house.
Was this the time that you were looking at Christmas trees?
Yeah.
Nice Christmas spirit there, huh?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Whack.
But we'd get holiday candy from places. The stores would give you candy and stuff, you know. It was nice. It was friendly.
How was Halloween in Beaver Falls when you were a kid?
We'd go out Halloween, and I heard these bigger guys would steal the little smaller kids' bags and stuff. I never had any trouble. The only trouble I had was when I had a big shopping bag. I mean, literally a big shopping bag. I had over half full of candy and oranges and apples and stuff like that. And right across the street from my dad's house, there was a vacant lot. And there was a trail come down through there. And it was raining like crazy. And I was running down and I slipped and fell. That bag broke. I had mud all over me. And I'm picking up all that muddy candy, putting it back in the bag.
What were your costumes like? I mean, they didn't have ready-made store plastic
No,
costumes.
you put on anything, you know, you might put a sheet on with a couple eyes for the hole, you know, holes for the eyes, and you might, I don't know, put something on your head. Yeah, it was just whatever you could find.
Did people go as hobos? A lot of hobos.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I think I went a hobo, too, a couple times.
So you were growing up during the Depression. Do you remember the hobos that came through town?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Oh, they used to come to my house, our house, and Mom would fix them a sandwich, and I would give them a cup of coffee. Oh, yeah, she felt sorry for them. But they never bothered Mom or anything, you know. They would thank her for the sandwich and stuff. Sometimes they'd just wrap them up and put them in their pocket, drink their coffee, and go on their way. But, there was probably more than I ever saw, you know, going around in neighborhoods.
And on the rails, you must have seen them on the rails.
Oh, yeah. Like I told you, in Big Rock, they had these guys built a shack there out of railroad ties. Benches in there, they'd sleep in there and everything. But they never bothered us. Us kids would go up there and go swimming, and they didn't bother.
You grew up in the 30s, the Great Depression, and then you went into the war years. So, obviously you didn't have much material-wise in the 30s. And then the war years, I mean, things were rationed. You didn't have much then. So, well, you think about it, the bulk of your life growing up as a kid, up through high school years, was kind of, there was scarcity in your life. Did you feel that way? Did you feel poor when you were a kid, or did you think that you were poor?
I didn't think I knew. I knew, Kevin, that we didn't have much, couldn't afford it. I never had much new clothes. I always says hand-me-downs. You know, like my older brother and that, hand-me-downs. And stuff like that, or people would give us clothes. Yeah, I knew we were poor. Rationing, we'd go out, collect old tires. We'd collect pots and aluminum pots and pans. You know, we'd take them to collectors, you know. Sometimes they'd give us a little bit of money for them. These old clothing, rags and that. This old guy'd come around with his horse and buggy, and these old guys would get them going. I did it too myself, asking me to change for a penny. Boy, he said, I'll give you a penny, I'll kick you in the ass. Hey, chased us away. But and then the ice trucks. Well, first it was like horse and buggy that come around. And they had these all blocks and like 100-pound blocks. And you wanted 25 pounds. We'd carry ice picks with us so we could chip, while the guy was delivering the ice, we could chip off those blocks. But everybody had ice boxes. So you had a sign, 25, 50, 75, and 100. So whatever you wanted, you'd put that up like 25 or 50. Put these in the old refrigerators. Then you had to put the pen underneath it. Oh, Christ, if you forgot, You forgot to empty that pan, you had water running all over the floor. You know, newspapers to sop up the water. My dad used to give us hell.
So you grew up with ice refrigeration, and the heat in your house was coal.
When we first moved in that house in Morado, I was used to every house we lived in. Like, I can't remember much about the farm because I was too young. But on College Hill, we had a nice bathroom. We had a coal furnace, and we had a coal furnace in one up in West Mayfield. We moved into that shack in Morado. Porch was falling off, big holes in the porch. No bathroom, no furnace. All they had was, we had coal stove. My dad bought this coal stove. Jeff, we had the registers in the upstairs, but no pipes going to it. So we'd have to keep that stove going all day long for heat. I remember when we first got the furnace in, boy, that was a luxury sitting on that furnace, that heat. But after that, like, we'd have to bank this coal stove at night, make sure it didn't go out, put a big lump of coal and it'd burn all night. Same thing with the furnace. You'd have to put a couple big lumps of coal in the furnace and close the vents so they'd burn slow. When you woke up in the morning, if you didn't do it right, it was cold. And I'm going to tell you what, we had ice on the windows on the inside, you know. But you'd have to hurry up and get up, start the fire, and then you always had to clean the ashes out, take the ashes out.
So when it came time to do things like bathing, did you do the tub in the middle of the kitchen?
You'd have to get the water hot on the stove, and then mix your coal with it, cool it down so you could take a bath. As always the first one, the oldest one. The oldest girl, the oldest boy. You know, I was lucky because I was the second. Yeah, and you got a bath in the old somebody else's water. It wasn't like, just pull the plug and drain out and then put new water in. But it was tough. Oh, we had cold water, no hot water.
But was it city water?
It was city water, yeah.
Just cold?
Didn't have a bathroom. We just had a commode in the basement. You can imagine cold dirt floor, only a couple lights. I tell you, that was cold. You get down there, but you couldn't dilly-dally around too long. You had to take a crap. You get it done in a hurry and get back upstairs. Yeah, I was in the Navy when my dad finally had a kitchen built on, with a bathroom. Oh, that was nice.
Let me take you back to this sense of poverty, sense of being poor that you had. Did you feel embarrassment or shame about that, like when you were with your peers, your fellow school kids who may have had more than you did? And what was that like?
It was embarrassing. I tell you, I had holes in my jeans. I'd walk up the alley, not up the front street, so neighbors couldn't see me, especially sitting on a porch in the summertime, so they wouldn't see me with old ragged pants. Had a hard time. I had shoes, wear a hole and keep putting paper or cardboard in there.
Did kids make fun of you?
Well, they didn't know it. I wouldn't tell them.